Too short. Too fat. Restrictive intermediate punishment. Is that probation? Oh, he has nice eyes. He has nice eyes, doesn't he?
What are you doing?
I'm just looking for love on Tinder. Oh my god, I found one. Okay, he's only been in the country for like 2 months, but he's already been charged with manslaughter. Be still my heart. Hello everyone, I'm Steve, Marc's around, and this is Smokey, Steve, and Marc. Either welcome or welcome back, and happy Saturday. It's the weekend, so we know what that means. I'm actually having cream in coffee, and Splenda. Nothing too flavorful. No mocha minty shit, it's just not the day for it. So I hope everybody's well, hope everyone's safe, look after yourself, look after each other. Today we are going to revisit our fair lady, Chantal Marie, Foodie Beauty, Big Beautiful Me, the Daily Chantal, Chantopolis, the Beezer Show, and Foodie Beauty still. Now last week we this Cuba thing has been it's gone on for a while, her Cuba rant that she did, where she was using very loaded racial epithets and insinuations and things about just a lot of stuff. Use the R word, talk down about her primary audience, the VIBs. So that was still talked about. So we didn't finish it up, but we got into that last week. She had the idea of using men in moderation. Okay. You have to be. Okay. And then going forward, what was this week going to look like? I had no idea, but I was wrong. So we'll touch on this week. A little more Chantal lip service regarding Cuba, because she made more videos about that, a reaction to her rage, which was worthless. If you're not sure why you're sorry, you're not sorry. You know, I might as well apologize for her behavior, because, you know, I would probably feel more responsibility for it than her, you know? So we have her lip service, the secret, not so secret relationship between her and Natter. Dee Dee is in the mix, I guess, too. It's not so much anymore about, well, we'll get to it, but it's not so much more about, are they doing things together? To me, it's more about the power struggle back and forth of how each one is trying to flex on the other to get an upper hand. It's very interesting to watch these two compete in that way. I don't care who they sleep with, you know, personally. If they all get gonorrhea, they have themselves to blame. But it was a thought about that. Efforts to spice things up, because subs are down, at least by a couple hundred. I know views are down. That's the cat. He's not happy either. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. So, jumping in. More Chantal lip service regarding Cuba. She talked a little bit. So after her rage, Cuba bees rage, paneer, whatever the fuck it was, she a few days later offered an apology, and then she reacted to the hateful stream she made, where she might as well have not apologized at all. She looked like she was trying to hold back laughing, for the most part. She didn't seem to care what anyone had to say about it. She apologized for some parts and not others, and never disclosed what the other parts were. And people noticed that she looked a little speedy in this. You're a little happy. I'm hyper and you're gonna get it. That, to me, okay, she's talking about getting her mental health in line, and she's mentioned taking medication several times for her mental health purposes. And it's an antidepressant. She disclosed the name, and it's an SSRI. Could she be feeling that much better that fast after only restarting it not so long ago? It's possible. It's possible. But there are more fast-acting substances that can make a person look hyper, cheerful, chatty, otherwise. Also worth noting, I have bipolar disorder. Don't look surprised. And in the treatment of bipolar and mood disorders, sometimes for some folks, SSRIs like Prozac or Celexa, anything like that, can trigger a manic episode in a person with bipolar disorder. They use it as a backwards way of getting a diagnosis sometimes. Give the person an antidepressant and see if they go through the roof. So, maybe she does have something going on, but she'll never deal with it. She'll never deal with it. She'll take meds off and on just enough to get people to shut up. Chantal, you're like really acting weird. I know, guys, I just got back on my meds. I think things will be okay soon. Anything to kind of dissolve responsibility for anything she did before. I don't know, guys. I just wasn't myself. I wasn't on my meds, and I'm still grieving about Timbit, and, she's going off on people, saying, you said you swore on your mother's life you never cheated with her, slept with her. Chantal swore on her grandmother's life, and then when it got thrown in her face, she said, I think Grandma would understand. Okay, so now she's trying to make moves in the afterlife. In the afterlife, she's trying to pull strings. Okay, whatever. So it was pretty much consensus after her apology video that no one believed it, that it was not really well taken. The acting was really lousy in it. She looked very distressed, and she had you guys have seen it and probably seen 1,000 reaction videos on it too. The acting was like Paris Hilton in House of Wax. Like, it was not super convincing. And when you insert something like a joke into an apology for something so serious, man, if you were sincere, that would have been really hurtful. But since it wasn't, there's no need to take it seriously, I guess. I don't know. I didn't feel offended by your language. It looks bad on you, not us. We're not the ones filming and broadcasting the most unflattering parts of ourselves and then demanding they be loved. That's not how most people, carry themselves. Just saying. She said during one of the videos after her proper apology, the one with the solemn music and the cat, that she said, yeah, I am. And people probably asked a few more times and said it didn't sound sincere. And she said, I'm going to start a channel called Sorry Not Sorry. But I am really sorry. She's not sorry. If anyone who's watching me is, confused, I know I get a little bit of, to the extent that I have a reputation, we have 5,000 subs. The spread is not wide. But to the extent that we do, we're usually known as nicer to her, or give her a lot of leeway, too many chances, that kind of thing. Yeah, I do. When someone's going to start over again with their life, I'm right there with you, because I took a lot of chances to get better, and I really don't believe anyone's unredeemable. But having to say that, I've been in jail. I've visited state hospitals where I was a patient advocate, state mental hospitals. Some people need care forever. She is towing the line of neurosis and psychosis at the moment. But she doesn't seem to be bothered by the fact that her life is crumbling. She tells herself enough crap that I think she's got herself snowed. She's believed Natter stories for so long that she's returned to, she has no mind of her own at the moment. Chantal has two reactions: reacting to other people and then doing things impulsively. So no, that's not a react. She does things impulsively, or if you do something to me. So she doesn't have accountability for the kind of discussion she has or the apologies she gives. That's why it is insincere. I don't want to say seems. It is insincere. It is. Nobody felt better after getting that apology. Nobody did. Nobody who would have been offended by the content that was in there. And being a snot about it is not a good look. Be a little humble. Some topics are hot topics and best be left offline if they're going to be discussed in a certain way, like the way she did. So, her secret, not so secret relationship with Natter. Now, she wants to see him every minute of every single day, but she can't because she pressed charges on him because she was spiteful. I know the discussion at the time was, well, it doesn't matter what he got in trouble for because he's abusive and should have gotten in trouble anyway. Okay, VIBs are not juries. It doesn't work like that. So she went through the motions to get back at him, spitefully. And now it guaranteed that she had to spend some time with him, if only in court or whatever. And then it kind of returns to, she's just going to do what she's been doing. What she wants is go back and forth and be third wheel. She got turned over for Dee Dee. Meek, simple, quiet Dee Dee, who showed up for free. She didn't have to come with party favors and $2,000. She's just there, and he enjoys her company. And it kills Chantal. It kills her, because that's the kind of woman that he likes spending time with. I don't know if they're friends or fucking. It doesn't really, none of my business, but that's the kind of person he apparently likes to spend time with. And she apparently likes spending time with him. She doesn't have all the crazy hang-ups and whining, and she's not, guess this. Put this, okay? She doesn't have a channel of her own where she goes and talks shit about Chantal or Nader. She doesn't play online social games as much. She'll text for Nader and you kind of know who it is, like some of the work that gets done. You know she's in the mix, but she's not going above and beyond the way that Chantal had been going above and beyond. You know, there's nothing I wouldn't do for him. That's scary. That's scary, honestly, to me. Because apparently he takes things pretty far when he feels confronted. And I mean, I whatever. Nothing that happens to her at this point is a surprise. Nothing is shocking. If she were to get injured hanging out with him, that wouldn't be shocking. If she ate Indian food for a week out of grief, that wouldn't be shocking. Ah, she did. We had paneer at 11 o'clock almost every day of the week. I like Indian food. I like, but at 11 o'clock in the morning, chasing coffee down with Indian food. She's got an iron constitution. Sort of. She can eat a lot, but then she's in the bathroom twice during a live where she has to go, drop the kids off at the pool. I don't know. So going back to the relationship with Dee Dee, Freudian slip, Nader and Chantal. I don't know about the dynamics. I think they're funny. I don't really care who's sleeping with who, because none of them I wouldn't trust as far as I could throw them. So most of their truth doesn't mean very much. It needs to be dissected, compared against previous statements, all that kind of stuff. Do I care? Hey, it's Saturday. I got nowhere to be. It's okay. Now, does that make it polyamorous between Dee Dee, Nader, and Chantal? Meaning everybody's in on it. We're all kind of have our own boundaries and we're staying together. If that is the situation, it's not working out. So if that was a try to where, she thought she could get her way in there and then take over like she does, and instead it didn't work out that way. She probably showed up and thought she was going to clean house, and instead she had to do some traumatic muff diving. Traumatic. Terrible. And blame him for it. I'm fascinated by this. I'm fascinated that I'm being harassed and mistreated by someone who I drive over there to go see. We've discussed in other videos that pretty much any reaction to abuse is a normal reaction, because any way someone reacts, somebody would come into a chat and say, actually, that's really common for victims of abuse. That's really common for victims of abuse. Basically, no two people react the same, is what I think the gist of that is. Which is a lie, because we have patterns of behaviors. That's how they end up getting diagnoses or identified, and other people can get help and support, and they have certain needs. Maybe they reach out to the community or government for assistance, therapy, support, something like that. Something a little bigger, something a little better. I got her up here, and she's bald, and God love her. She has my hairline. That's a sin. That's a sin. But at any rate. So, Nader seemed to have the bottom line, because she went off on Dee Dee, as we know, but she backtracked and said she was sorry. And it was the kind of sorry that reminded me of when Nader threw the laptop in her face when she was at his house and said, apologize. And she was like, all glossy-eyed, put on the spot. I apologize for this and that. She will do anything to keep this man. And the thing is, though, he won't, go out of his way to keep her. He, depending on their relationship, replaced her at this point. And she's just a side chick. She's on the side. She's something to do when Dee Dee's busy. She's something to do when Dee Dee's out of town. She's something to do when I want to party like a rock star. We'll use her money and pretend we're not poor. You know, they take advantage of her, but she thinks she's getting her way a lot of the time. So it's if everybody's satisfied, then I guess whatever. But I don't know. So a little bit of a sidebar here, okay? Just wanted to gather myself together. Okay, little sidebar. Now, as we're talking about intimacy, relationships, blah, 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 and we have 3 people in the mix, there's nothing, okay, I'm not going to try not to take a moral high road with this, because the fact that Marc and I live together makes plenty of people sick, including probably some of Chantal's friends, as they hail from countries where gentlemen like I and Marc are thrown off the roof. So, you know, try not to let it get to me too much, though I don't travel to certain parts of the world. Fuck, I don't travel anywhere. But if I was going to travel to certain parts of the world, there's some I would skip, probably. But sleeping with a bunch of men, there's a couple ways it could look. Now, I don't know if anyone knows the Golden Girls, and Blanche's niece, Lucy, came to visit, and she met with a doctor on the plane. She met a pilot, I think. She ran away with some guy who looked like he was from Miami Vice. And Lucy had said to Blanche, who's notoriously, you know, flirty and whatnot, and very open with her sexuality. Her niece had said, I don't expect you to question my choices, in so many words. From what I hear, you were not a saint growing up. And Blanche says, no, I've always enjoyed the company of gentlemen. Always have. But there's a difference. When I'm with a man, it's because I like him, not because I want him to like me. So, there's always something for the Golden Girls. You can always draw wisdom. It's like The Simpsons when they predict the future. Same thing. So, that's the motivation I think that's different. You know, it's please like me, please like me, please like me. That would be a good tattoo to get on her forehead. Because she'll humiliate herself to try to appease and get the approval of a man that is barely worth the respect of, you know what I mean? Like, where are they going to be really going places? The channel's stumped now because she's not talking about him, but even when she does, no one cares. They're over it. Is she, isn't she? She probably is. She'll probably deny it. She'll probably come back the next day and start a video with, guys, I need your help. I had a woman who was rather manipulative one time. I was at a bar with an ex who was also rather manipulative. And she said, if you ever want to wrap a man up, and maybe it would work with women too, start the conversation with, guys, I need your help so bad. So you're starting from a position of neediness and letting the people in the chat believe that they're giving you comfort and that they're warming you up and that you're making you feel better. They don't know that that's the day after manipulation, where I'm going to be sweet as pie and manipulate you, and you'll eat that shit up with naan bread. It's not the I don't know, whatever. So anyway, as far as the moral high ground of people sleeping with this person and doing this and doing that, believe me, it's far from my mind what anyone else should or should be doing. You know, stay out of my bedroom. I'll certainly stay out of yours. But this is on YouTube. This is on TV. This is what the content is, pretty much. So, and if you're going to sleep around, well, she's not sleeping around. She got one guy that she bribes. But if, like she says, with the Tinder and the whatnot, that she's sleeping around and seeing different guys, that's not, like, if she's socially responsible, carefully responsible, I mean, I think I have those couple rules for myself. I'm not going to say these are Chantal's rules. These are my own rules with sleeping around. Don't be the other man or other woman. That's gone here. Don't lead people on. And always use protection. Outside of that, I don't really think too deeply about kind of what other people do. And if she's going to catch feelings for every guy that she talks to, then she can't just meet guys and hang around. It's sad enough that the first date is at a hotel she pays for with these guys. Oh, I don't really go on dates. I just hang out with them, and then we go to hotels and mess around. Now, I could see maybe not wanting to have a guy over with Pete's there, but this MO is just, let me throw everything at you on the first date. Let me buy dinner, let me buy dessert, Let me buy you a mid-sized vehicle, and then we'll go back to the hotel I paid for, and then tomorrow I can tell everybody how nice you were to me. She accepts so little as kindness that I think she does think Natter's nice to her. She'll say he's mean, but any attention's good attention for a drama queen like that. So, all right, now we're back. Definitely not with Natter. When she says, I'm definitely not with Natter, it also means nothing because she has said, you know, I wouldn't tell you guys if I was. So again, it's more of the fast and loose playing with the truth than it is about what she's kind of lying about at this point. The only consequences that are going to happen for the big three are going to be for them. It's lousy, the content that Chantal's used to draw people in. She picked a very vulnerable, serious topic, which is her choice. She didn't have to put any of that on YouTube, but she put it out there for help, respect, scrutiny. Everything on YouTube is open to scrutiny. So I don't know why she was so, like, surprised. I don't know. And she tries to say, well, it's not Natter. Well, pressing charges against him could cause a rift. What would mend a rift between me and somebody who filed charges against me? I want to see dollar signs. I want to see charges dropped. I want to see a person walk up to the judge and say, I made it up. He's the nicest guy between here and Cairo. Nicest guy. Whatever. So these fake Tinder dates and the other things that she's going on. I met a guy. I just can't stop thinking about him. He's really nice. He's from, pick any country around the Mediterranean or 200 miles inland. And he's from there usually. And he's this, and he likes to cook, and you know, I like to eat. That worked for the one dude who I guess was, what was this? Roman? Poor Roman. I hope he's gone. I don't want to see him again. He seemed naive and sweet, and then homophobic, and then said that Foodie Beauty was clout chasing him. I don't get that. I don't see that. Chantal's a lot of things, but I don't see her chasing him for clout. She might have moved a few chess pieces here and there, but I don't think she's trying to get anything out of Roman other than to make Natter jealous because she believes he has all these feelings for her and he will be hurt by this. So she plays it up, and then if she gets the reaction from him that she wants, she'll cancel the date, which is disappointing for everybody, but you can just look at her and kind of tell there's more going on. There's more going on. And again, I don't care who's sleeping, but I like the power kind of play that goes with it. So, fake Tinder dates. Yeah. Definitely not seeing Natter, she says. Her profile has that she lives in Montreal. Or he is in Montreal. She's starting to try to meet men in that area. And she said, you guys, I told you why. It's because I go to Orange Julep a lot. She tried to gaslight people using Orange Julep. Oh, sure. I used to go, like, she went there 3 times a week. You know, I used to do that. I used to do this. Yeah. But now you're going over there to be the third wheel. He already lives with somebody else. What more do you need to see? Pregnancy tests, beds. She's wearing your shoes. He moved 2 hours away with her. He moved away. Any way she inserts herself at this point is entirely by choice. She does not have to run into him anymore. She does not have to see him anymore. She's not going to run into him. She never did anyway. And what's he going to do? Drive? Dee Dee doesn't drive either, from what I understand. So, it's just sad for her. I feel sad for Chantal, to the extent that I have any feelings. I feel sad. I'm always wishing she'd get better and start over, and she'd be the turnaround recovery story of the century if she did, but I don't know if that's coming exactly. So, you know. And I mean, for Chantal, I don't like seeing anybody upset, but I don't think she knows the difference between real tears and fake tears. You know, like, emotions are currency to her. They're something to be used and wielded in exchange to get something else. They're not just things people feel, feelings they have. They have to be, in some way, weaponized. And she can weaponize things. She really, really can. Now, once upon a time, I used to have compassion for her, A lot of it. Because I was naive. I came in when she was still mukbanging. Her biggest issue at the time was, well, being fat and health challenges. Those probably haven't gone away, and she started to gain weight back. This week she was like, oh, I gained 10 pounds. Well, yeah, you had 5,000 calories worth of coconut milk every day. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. We're all unique, but if you live in a human body, some things are just always going to be true. You know, none of us are that special. We've mentioned Chantal and her terminal uniqueness. She's so special, she's going to die from it. Because well, that applies to you, but in my situation, it's different. I know what you guys are thinking, but it's totally different this time. Whatever. At this place, with so many of her middle fingers and changing her mind and all that, I don't have much more compassion for her. I had less and less as time was going on, and now I have almost none, because she's tried to turn domestic violence, court stuff, all of that into content, but doesn't want feedback on it either. Our videos have comment sections. They also have a thumbs up and thumbs down. Chantal will notoriously take her comments off. She won't let anyone talk. She wants one-way communication so she doesn't have to deal with the consequences of her own actions. So she'll put up something vicious on the community tab and then block responses. When she's upset, she'll block people who give contrary decisions to her. Or things she's talking about. Block through the chats. Block, block, block. Mods, goodbye. Block, block, block. You guys don't want to agree with every last friggin' thing I do? Block, 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 block. It's starting to hit home. I think she's a little low on the subs, a little low on the views, possibly. But what is there to see? I mean, what is there to say? She didn't start a new job. She didn't meet the kind of guy who's going to take her out in public. She didn't meet the kind of guy who's going to suggest anything other than a hotel the first date. I don't know. She probably hasn't been on a real date. You know who probably took her on a date? Pete's. Pete's probably took her on a date. With whatever means he had from working as a telemarketer from God knows when. He probably saved up his pennies, and they went to somewhere that normally he wouldn't afford, and he probably got her a nice dinner. I don't think... BB may have as well. I don't think she's seen that since. I don't think she's seen it since. Ooh, and the nerve. Okay, this just came back to me. This was one of the videos close up to today. It was coming up. And Pete's was there. No, this wasn't that long ago. She's in her chair talking about Dee Dee and finding out that he's been with Dee Dee because of a text that she read from months ago that she decided to make herself upset about to have something to talk about. Okay, so how can I put this diplomatically? I mean, I guess really the bottom line is the way her life has changed. Is it better or worse? And it's like, obviously worse. It's obviously... I mean, it wasn't great to the beginning. And not only is it worse, she's rather gleefully doing it, as if thumbing her nose at us while hurting herself somehow hurts us, or makes us feel a certain way. I don't care. I'm just watching the show and sharing a few thoughts. You know, this isn't even the whole channel we have. This is just one video a week. As far as Nader, you know, Montreal might not be far enough. I have an ex, God love him, he's sick. I hear the Yukon territory is banging. I heard it's great, and it's really, really, really far from where she is. And she'll never make the drive. She can get in a plane now, but she's going to have to get on one of those little puddle jumpers the further you go north in Canada. And if you head west, closer towards like Alaska, flight is the primary way of travel. It would take forever to drive. So we'll get her in a little puddle jumper, plane, watch it take off. I'm terrible. So, going forward, the week ahead, more talking about her boyfriend until Nader cares. So she'll talk about Nader shitty. And then he gets mad and he'll call in the middle and she's like, guys, I just can't talk about it. I have to keep this to myself. Translation, he told me to shut the fuck up. And he's threatened to take away attention that he's giving to her if she doesn't do whatever. And right now, she's framing it like, the law is keeping us apart. The law. You sought help from the law because you said that you were afraid of him. So, which Which one's the lie? They can't all be true. They can't all be true. So, it makes sense to me that she only did the jail thing out of spite. Because it was spite, because he was going to go first that day. And she got ahead of it. And by engaging the legal system and doing other things like that, pretty much tell me she has absolutely no problem abusing systems to her own advantage. And if she thinks she's not abusing it, why does she want to follow it now? Because they can't be together. Like it's some torrid frickin' romance. Don't worry, he's got Dee Dee. He's fine in the meantime. He might just ask you to leave the shit outside and send him the money via Cash App. Just a thought. So, new ideas going into next week to spice things up a little bit, you know? Let's see. She's more on Tinder. This guy's just right for me. He's Moroccan. He's Italian. He's from Ghana. He's from Saudi Arabia. You know, that's her pool. The oopsie fupa flash that's accidentally happened like 8 times or 9. That's not my sexuality has absolutely nothing to do with me being disgusted by that. I don't know if you can get that through, but it's just not for me. It's not cool. Like, I don't know if I'd keep a friendship with someone who was so kind of slovenly but really into it. If your life's a mess and you're trying and you're still fucking up, I can give you a little break because at least you're trying. Like some real effort, not one day of planning, a morning of eating well or going for walks, and then by noon we quit because it's too hard. So I don't know. It was just a thought. She did a panel discussion, one, with Miss Effing Wonderful and I forget the other dude's names, RSN. That was something different, but she behaved very differently in the live. She was much more meek. She wasn't her usual brassy, ballsy self, because I don't think person to person she can keep it cool like that. And I think they were just using her for clout. I don't know if she cared, because I've never heard anything good, we'll say. I did some research, and I've heard anything good about either of the folks she was on panel with. More travel plans, possibly, to spice things up. She's gained over 10 pounds. We are getting closer to 400 again. I guess you can't eat Indian every day all week. Some people have a brilliant metabolism. They could eat whatever they want, and they never get to be a pound above 350. But I think she's not one of them. So, I couldn't believe this too. Spicing things up, maybe get something going on with Pete's. Pete's, tell me if you would be hurt if the person you were with was cheating on you. She cheated on Pete's. And then got with BB. And then BB was over, and then we were on to... She was an individual for a week or two, and then she just was property of another man. But, she asked Pete's a question like that. So tone deaf. So tone deaf. Ask the guy you cheated on, who would propose to you. Who would propose to you. And didn't you feel bad? Yeah, it was terrible. And she's using that to be like, see, it's awful. You bitch. You rude bitch. That is so nasty. It's not fun to play with somebody like that. If he's playing along, it's because he's probably embarrassed. And that's not nice. Because again, that's something kind of... It seems like it should be personal between the two of you. But you've decided to, again, make that rather public. I'd rather hear more about Pete's than her. He has his own channel, though, and that's not so great. So it's more of a... I wish Pete's were more interesting and created a better channel than her. But I don't see that happening either. So, going ahead, maybe more speed and less pot. Could spice things up a little bit. When her meds are working, on the day she was going for a Starbucks Bees, she was very excited, and her meds were working. Her meds working, like we said before, looks somewhere between manic psychosis and speed. So, she knows. Or she doesn't. It'd be sad if she didn't. I'd at least like to think that she's aware of the nastiness that she breeds. But maybe she is that oblivious. Maybe she's so oblivious she doesn't know that, like, certain things are rude or gauche, and I'm not going to live my life by other people's standards. Shut up. Shut up. So, next week, what do we have? More fake boyfriends until Nader tells her to shut up again. That's my prediction. More trips to Montreal for nothing. She's due to have a fight with Nader, which means she won't talk about the fight, but she'll come back and be very mean. She'll come back and be mean and nasty to the chat because, like anything, he gets mad at her, she gets mad, and takes it out on the chat, which means she must feel like she's not getting her say face to face with him. And why she loves that, I don't know. But that's up to her, I suppose. I wouldn't want to stand for it. I've been in relationships where the man was not in any way abusive, but they were a bit controlling and liked to play power games, and those get old. I mean, to watch, they get really old, but I mean, even to do them gets old. You know, take up pottery. Do something else. Anything else. Mark?
Yeah.
Mark, can you come here a second, please?
Yes, I can.
I'll be right here. Hello, dearest.
Hello.
How are you?
Hey, everybody.
You guys know Mark.
Yeah.
So, as we were spinning down the toilet of another week, we touched on actually a lot of the stuff from last week. It's just a few other oddities.
Yeah.
Her torn relationship with Nader, which is less and less. It wasn't interesting. It was just train wrecky, and now it's even less train wrecky. So it's more. I don't know.
Yeah. And utterly boring, if I do say so myself.
It is.
It really is. The last couple weeks have been just so boring, repetitive. The same. It just like
back from Cuba. It's been aside. The only content's been her apologies.
I know, right? I know. Yeah, very true. I mean, you know, I really don't have a lot to comment on because, like I said, it's just more of the same thing over and over again, right? But I do like to comment on, you know, the drug aspect of it. You know, that's kind of what I've been doing.
Yeah.
Since I joined you.
It's kind of in your wheelhouse. It's become
I mean,
suddenly relevant over the last year or so.
Yeah, you know,
to have an expert on the panel.
Exactly right. You know, but I do say that, you know, I think most people would agree that you know, the underlying thing under all of this that's going on is drug use. There absolutely, there is still drug use going on. I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure that out, right?
Yeah.
No, definitely. I mean, like you could like. Again, like I said, take a look at her behaviors, you know. Come on, the apartment, like look at it. Who lives like this?
I know.
This is another behavior of somebody who is
Mrs. Havisham a run for her money.
You
know, behaviors,
you know,
though, it's the same thing.
It is.
It's not using,
behaviors.
but it's part of a lifestyle.
Exactly.
Of shirking responsibilities.
Right.
And deciding.
You know, I couldn't help but thinking, what was it, that one video where she said, oh, I need your help, guys, or said, you know, again, these type of things that she does like that is a distraction of what's actually going on.
And
you
it's
know,
manipulative as hell.
Manipulating.
I really need you guys.
People. Yes. Yeah.
What was that about?
100%.
Manipulating the F out of them and they'll eat it up
and they'll eat it up and they'll love it. And I mean, this came from her mouth. You know, she said that.
Nobody said this. She said this.
She said this. Again, you know, manipulation is a behavior.
Yeah.
Now, you can have these behaviors without substance use, of course.
Yeah.
But
they're not exclusive to it, but they tend to show up a lot.
They do. They do, you know. And the, you know, up mood 1 minute, down mood another minute. I hate you, block everybody 1 minute, comes back, unblocks people. Oh, isn't there one where she was like, I'm sure I would love to unblock people, but nobody's coming. Well, why do you think?
Because when you block them,
this happens?
They weren't begging to come back.
Right. And that whole community post, I think you talked about it earlier, where again she needs her VIBzer's help and advice because she is going to a doctor to address her hair loss, you know,
which is, you know, good.
Which is good.
I like doctors.
Whatever, I don't believe it, but we'll see. Hopefully she does, you know, because
it's a distraction.
I would imagine it
It probably
feels
weighs on her.
funny. You know,
And she's a woman, and so it's probably more...
I would imagine, you know, but
Yeah.
again, I think that whole community post was a distraction. But, you know, somebody had commented back to her, you know, like, whatever, and said, you know, I would really like, you know, to see this for you.
I would like that for you.
Yeah, and... Did you see her response? I mean, come on. Like, again, it's behaviors. It's how you want people to perceive you. It's the character that you're showing to other people. It's how you act and react with people and other people, you know. And none of it is good. And none of it is... as the weeks go on, I'm just always amazed at what personally I think of her now and the way I felt of her like a year ago, you know.
Yeah.
Now, she wasn't my best friend. I didn't think she was like...
Oh, God, no. We weren't up in the DMs.
It wasn't like that.
But I had more hope for her getting her shit together
I did
a year
too.
ago than I do now.
I actually enjoyed some of what she did. You know, I thought, you know... But now, you know, this Chantal... you know, is much, much different than that one. And a lot of people were saying that, no, you see her true colors now. Like, this is truly who she is, you know. And as the months go on, we're seeing more and more of it. And I'm inclined to totally agree with that.
Yeah.
She's come to be a person that I personally wouldn't necessarily hang out with, or, you know, I certainly don't condone anything that she does, you know. You've heard my opinions on, you know, why you would, you know, kind of, you know, put yourself out there like this, you know. It's truly pathetic and sad. I mean, but yeah, no, I think the drug use is still going on. And again, I'm going to stand behind what I say probably every week since I've been on.
Probably.
Just something is going to happen. It always does. You know, I hope I'm wrong. I hope she doesn't get hurt, or she doesn't hurt somebody else, but
whatever needs to get her attention,
yes,
it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen, and I hope that
she's gone to the well too many times without consequences.
Absolutely, absolutely. And she and I'm not
the kind she cares about.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Right.
Yeah.
Like losing her channel, that did nothing. That did nothing except for make her more righteous and more in your face. You know, I'm talking about she's going to get a DUI. She's going to end up in jail. She's going to wreck. She's going to hurt herself or someone else. God forbid, an overdose. Yes, obese people can overdose. You know, and it happens all the time.
I think the assumption people have maybe is that she's so large it would take a whole lot. It
would take a lot. And it would, but...
not an infinite amount.
No, but she takes a lot. She does a lot, you know. You know, now I lost my train of thought. I don't know.
It's because the kitty came to visit, that's all.
It is, yeah. He's a doll baby, right? But yes, no, something's going to happen. And like I said, she's going to end up in jail. Something's going to happen. I just hope that it's not too... destructive, like not to
for her or anybody else.
For her or anyone else.
Well, for anyone else, obviously, but hopefully not for her.
You know, this coming on here and talking like this, it kind of gets to me sometimes because I see this every day in my job. And, you know, since COVID, we've seen a lot of people who are no longer with us at my job, you know, patients. And it's because of overdoses, and it's because of going to jail, like, for a long period of time. It's, you know, I see it every day. And when I see her, who has every opportunity to get the support and the help that she needs, but she won't lift one finger to do anything for herself that is healthy and that will actually help herself, it's extremely frustrating to watch.
Somebody, a viewer commented on that. I don't have mine in front of me, but in response to those kind of things, they said, look, we're your audience, we're not your staff.
Very true.
That was one of the comments underneath, and I forget the name of the person, God forgive me. I didn't steal it, though. It wasn't mine.
right, yeah.
It wasn't mine. I didn't, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't create it, but yeah.
Yeah. I know.
For real. So
I don't know. That's just my little 2 cents there. I just rambled on. I don't
Well,
know,
thank you,
but
Marc.
Isn't it getting harder and harder to watch? I mean, like, gosh, you can't, even recently, you can't even tune into drama. It's so boring, but, you know, whatever. I'm sure there'll be more.
there's always more.
Yes. And I just last, what the heck is this, by the way?
With
I'm
the mask?
scarred for life.
With the face mask?
Yeah, and the fupa and the, like, I
She's
don't
gonna-
think I'll ever be the same.
She already
and
thinks she's disgusting, so she's gonna like jump the gun.
exploit it.
If you think I'm gross, I'll show you what gross is.
Yeah, well, we know she's
Because
gross.
she's 12.
Yeah, she is. I don't know. I still care about those kitties too. I
the
worry
kitty
that
cats.
they're not being taken care of. I said last week I was watching the videos to see the bowls to see if they're full or not. That bowl is. I hope it hasn't been empty for 7 days,
I
but
should hope so.
every time that I had looked, the bowls were empty. I couldn't see a water bowl anywhere. I don't know. I think of those things because I know people in active addiction neglect personal hygiene, taking care of their pets, taking care of their homes, and she's right in the middle of it.
Yeah, when you there's this vinegar smell and fruit flies and these
That's
other
what
things.
I didn't check.
This
Did
is
you get
not.
that under control?
I don't know.
I don't know.
We're
I
not talking
didn't.
like an outbreak of one of these things at a time.
No.
Like in my messy house with leftover food,
Right.
places other than the fridge is covered in fruit flies. Like what's
I don't know. And you know, her health is in jeopardy, and I you know, we could go on with all this.
that's
Y'all
the last
know
thing
this.
she's worried about.
It's the last thing. Yeah.
So
yeah.
why should I care?
I know. I mean, come on, Foodie Beauty. Get a little respect for yourself, please. Please.
R-E-S-P-C-T. Find out what it means to me. Bye, Marc.
Bye.
Always good to get another perspective, just a little bit, and also, you know, in his specialty of things. So that's all we got for this week. Thank you all for watching. Please do subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get alerts when we have new videos and when we go live. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, email address and contact info is below as well. Thank you again, and we will catch up with you tomorrow. We are going live at 6 p.m. Eastern. Open chat, no topics. Foodie Beauty usually comes up and a couple other folks, but otherwise it's very, very chill. Like 100 plus people sometimes come. They're still small at the moment, so they are very chill. So don't hesitate if you're around, please stop by. Thanks for watching. Bye.